Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back, welcome into the studio, and welcome to a special playoff preview of the Wildcast podcast. Your unofficial voice of all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, I am your host Adam, and I am here joined in studio again by your favorite co-hoster, Mass Singer aficionado, Hell's Kitchen aficionado, Big Brother aficionado, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. How are you?
I'll add one more thing to
All
that.
right, what do you got?
Poutine Fest grand prize winner.
That is ridiculous. How's that going, by the way? How is the PS5 going? Poutine Fest winner.
Grand prize winner. I love the PS5. So I went out. I picked it up the day after.
Yep.
So it was Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. Didn't play it that night.
Because you were updating it?
Basically. And went out, got 3 games, got NHL 21, got Need for Speed, and some Gigantosaurus game for the little ones.
Yep.
So we've been preoccupied with that. And I never had Disney Plus, but now that I have the PS5, it comes with Disney Plus. So
It's pretty awesome.
I've been catching up on my Mighty Ducks Game Changers. And we watched a movie called Clouds last night, which was super emotional. So yeah, if you like sappy movies and you need a good cry, Clouds is probably the one you want to watch. But honestly, it's awesome. It's having a lot of fun with it. I already won the Memorial Cup with the Moncton Wildcats.
Congratulations! Yeah,
myself was drafted 2nd overall by the LA Kings.
Nice.
Don't know who was first. Probably Lafreniere.
Probably Lafreniere. Yeah.
But, I mean, I had like 200 points, and I don't know how he's better than that. But anyways, I'd rather play for the Kings than the Rangers. I'm happy with that. And
Living that LA life.
Yeah, that's right. Hollywood.
Have you played Need for Speed?
Yes. I seem to be the only one who can get through a race
level?
without crashing.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty good with that too. And Gigantosaurus kids game, well, that can go F itself. So
That's not for you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I met you at the, tell me you have a bunny without telling me you have a bunny. I had to go get a bunch of HDMI cords and optic cord because our little one Twix likes to get up and chew live cords. How she's not dead, I don't know. But I had to go pick up some cords there and saw you picking up all your games. And man, like Need for Speed, I literally can't play that because if I do, I'm up all night because you just get to a point where you have to beat that level. You have to beat that level, and
I'm not at that point, right?
No.
I'm not that kind of gamer.
no.
Honestly,
I just got frustrated with you get so close to the end and you end up crashing or you end up getting caught by the cops or you got Hot Pursuit, right?
it's remastered, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, it's something like, I think remastered is comes to mind. Honestly, like I know when to cut myself off. You know, I think I'm already sick of NHL.
Yeah.
But it's
Try franchise mode. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I might do that. But no, once MLB The Show comes out, that'll be my jam.
That's a good game. The best part about that game, and I haven't played an MLB games in forever, and I bought like 2018 or whatever. And everyone starts on rookie, and then as you play the game more and you get better, the levels change with you. So if you're really good at hitting, their pitching is harder. But if you suck at pitching, the pitching is easy. Like it's variant, not like hockey where you have to go up and down a level and all that stuff. So, all right, well, that's our gaming update for everyone. So now we move into the other side of the TV, Hell's Kitchen. This is it. This is the finale. Corey, Mary Lou, Declan just not there with his food, but they didn't bring back everyone. They brought back a few, and I thought it was very smart of Mary Lou to pit Mark with Declan on Corey's team. Like those two didn't get along. And again, Amber made it all about herself, but those two didn't get along. I thought it was very smart of Mary Lou to try and, make those two work.
Yeah, no, it's I was completely wrong about what I thought last week's episode was going to be like. I thought it was the finale.
Well, they made it seem like it was going to be.
Yeah, they did, but it wasn't. Interesting. I thought some of those chefs were tough on Declan. I thought some of those scores could have been a little higher.
Gets a 7 on steak or whatever to win. I was like,
I don't know
no.
about that. It's gonna be a good finale. I'm still picking Corey to win, but yeah, I was wrong about the bringing everybody back. I thought they brought everybody back, but it's only like 4 or 5 per side or something like that. So, no, looking forward to it. Should be a good one. But yeah, so the one whose door opens is the
I'm gonna jump on the
show.
bandwagon with you with Corey. I had Declan as my winner, but he was obviously didn't make it. Man, you're making a steak challenge. If you don't make a fillet when you're doing a steak, like, what are you doing a ribeye? I was like, what? She cooked it well. She got a 10 on the ribeye, but I'm like, man, you were doing a steak challenge. You got to do a fillet. So you're up to date on Big Brother. I
think so.
I don't watch it, but I see the commercials on Global when I'm watching other shows.
Right.
They're making it seem like Tara's gonna make things happen, and she's figuring out this game a little bit. So just give the fans some updates here.
Yeah, she's making things happen. Today was the veto ceremony. I'm not going to spoil it or anything like that, but her decision today, I believe, will cost her the game. So anyways, so who's the head of household? I think it's Beth. I think Beth is head. No, Tara. Tara's going to be the head of household because she named the replacement nominee. Right. So it was Tara.
Well, that's not good if she goes from head of household to could be out with a bad decision, right?
Well, it's the decision she made as a replacement nominee.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so Tara's the head of household, and I believe she nominated Beth and one of the boys. I want to say Tashawn. I always get Jedson and Tashawn mixed up. So when he's Jedson, that's basically a recap without going into any
without
spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
But as of like last week, it was under the back door. They put up Kiefer as a backdoor replacement nominee.
Okay.
So it was him and Tina? Yeah, Tina from Newfoundland on the block. Usually when you do a backdoor, the backdoor replacement goes home. However, Kiefer managed to kind of persuade the house to go the other side, and so Tina from the Rock was evicted. So we're down to we're getting down some to the nitty gritty of Big Brother Canada. So yeah, this week we'll have another one sent home, and after that, I think there might only be 3 or 4 weeks left. So. Stay tuned for more updates. Hopefully, we're still doing this show on finale night.
That's quite impressive that we're still kicking on this show, and we've gotten so far 2 finales, and we'll see if we get all of Masked Singer, because we knew with the amount of break we might actually get all of Masked Singer in. Speaking of which, Group A finale is set. It's the Russian Dolls, Seashell, Robopine, the new wild card Yeti, and Orca was eliminated to make the 4. Which ended up being Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray, who you see, you feel kind of silly when you see who it is. You're like, how did I not know that? You hear Sugar Ray so often, which kind of goes to the fact that when I was saying it was Andy Samberg and you got a lot of SNL vibes from New York and stuff. Well, after his career, he was he had a huge career doing Sirius satellite radio, doing a countdown every week, which is based in New York. So, that makes a ton of sense. Russian Dolls, you're still on Hanson. I'm still on 90 degrees, which is funny because I was like, we're watching it and they said they had the clue about playing the White House. And Layla's like, oh, well, she just read Jessica Simpson's book. So she's like, 98 degrees played at the White House.
So did Hanson.
So I was like, Yeah. And that's the one. Yeti, Bieber? Like, I'm getting Bieber vibes, Canadian, raised single mother. That's kind of.
Did I miss something?
You might have. I don't know. Yeah, the Yeti was the new wild card. Abominable Snowman, whatever it's called, Yeti.
Well, sorry, folks. I'm clearly. I think I might have watched the same episode twice, or. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, really? Yeah. So the Yeti. Which, go look at it.
What were some of the clues again?
I'm gonna go find him here. I gotta go. Seashell. I'm thinking. I'm still believing in Jennifer Love Hewitt. So Yeti. So it comes out hiding for mammoth reasons. Wild force to be reckoned with. Too many Yetis become monsters. where he came from, a secret village of a warrior woman to show him the way. So kind of a single mom vibe.
Right.
Having motivators and teachers was golden. They gave him the confidence to get to the mountaintop. Imageries were including cupcakes, firewood, Yeti, Canadian. I was like, it could be Bieber. That would be huge for the show. He arguably the biggest superstar they've ever had on that show.
I need to watch that again because I clearly missed that. I don't even know the name. I didn't know Yeti. I talking about Yeti. Nope, I missed that one.
All right, so I'm getting some Bieber vibes on that. We'll have to see. I mean, Seashell, I'm still thinking is Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Robopine. I still have no idea. Like that is one that I just.
Was that the one I hit Jamie Foxx with? Yeah, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone keeps saying is Jamie Foxx, which at some point he's got to be on this show.
Where's my thing? Mass Singer right here. Robopine. Yeah, Jamie Foxx. Yeah. So, yeah.
What do you got for Seashell?
No clue, but a great voice.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going Jennifer Love Hewitt. I mean, she was in Kids Incorporated as early on in her career, and all those movies then went away. There was one clue in there. It was something about baseball or Texas or something, and she's on 911.
Right.
The new 911 show there. So
that's not the Lone Star one though.
No, but that's the small clue. Like she's on the original Lone Star. They've probably done crossover episodes. So I'm kind of going with Jessica Simpson there. So that's other than the Hanson, you've got Jamie Foxx, and that's really it. I guess it's tough when you don't see the Eddie to get your idea.
Yeah,
of who
I'll have to tune in for that one. So.
All right, so I mean that's our Masked Singer Group A. If I go back to my other notes, Group B is Piglet, Chameleon, Black Swan, and Crab. That's it. They're set in stone because they had the Bulldog there that ended up being Nick Cannon. Yeah. So we're set for next Wednesday. In one of the finales, we're not sure, but I just want to see the Russian dolls. That's the only one I really want to see. It could be. All right. So as always, you can follow us on Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast as well now, TikTok, Wildcast Podcast, and please don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. The quick question: season's over for the Wildcats. Who's your rookie of the year?
My rookie of the year? You
want mine first, or do you want to go first?
I'll go first. This might seem like a weird one, based on ice time in the first half compared to ice time in the second half, but just based on games played, I'll have to go with Mathis Cloutier. I know Vinny LaBelle's kind of the rookie point leader right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's only played 3 games since the restart, and a lot of his points came in that first half, and with the increased ice time and responsibility, Cloutier's really kind of been performing. Mm-hmm. So I'll take him. It's it's pretty slim pickings.
Yeah, it is. Which is funny because there's 16 rookies, but they all were in and out of the lineup. Like it was tough to have a consistent full year rookie.
So none have really stood out, right?
Yeah.
Like if LaBelle would have had, would have played a full year, I would have said for sure Vinny LaBelle.
Yeah.
But just based on the fact he's only played 3 or 4 games since the restart, tough to judge on that one.
Same with Loshing.
He's
only got 8 points in 19 games.
I mean, you could make an argument for Bernier, but he's not technically a rookie because he's 19.
Yeah.
What's sad? Jordan Spence is still the 4th leading scorer on this team.
I know.
That's something else.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna go with Max Barbashev.
Okay.
I mean,
that's
he again limited games. He only played 10, but he made such an impact in the 10,
mm-hmm.
and you could see it when he came back, especially with Hudson and Langlois. They're just so good as a top line. When he played 10 games, he's only held off the score sheet for I think 3 of them total. So
point per game. So you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime you're a European player can get a point per game, it's very good for your team.
And I think he's he's the tone setter. Like
mm-hmm.
he goes out there, he's physical. Him, Hudson, and Langlois have just been, most valuable to his team. I mean, when he was out, the team struggled. When he came back, that line was really clicking, and they had the chemistry. So it's so tough, though. It seems easy with 16 rookies, and I think the Wildcats had LaBelle, Lolshing, and I can't remember who the other one was. Olsen, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Olsen in the rookie voting?
Pilat,
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, a lot of guys made cases throughout the year, and, hey, they did the job to get us into the playoffs. So, they kept it up to get us into the playoffs. All right, so, yeah, that's it. Let's get to some news and notes from around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue.
All right, some playoff news like everyone's talking about. We're going to get into it a little bit. The New Brunswick round robin with the 3 MB teams going at it, and then the winner will take on Charlottetown for the division title. But from the Nova Scotia side, not so much, as Halifax and Cape Breton have decided they are done for the season. You've got thoughts on that. I've got thoughts on that. I'll give you mine first. I understand it. You're playing Charlottetown all the time. It's tough to keep playing them for another 2 weeks. Or do you wait 2 weeks, in Cape Breton's case, to come to Moncton, potentially lose? So you waited around 2 weeks to travel and play one game. Halifax's case, you sat at home for 2 weeks to play one home game, and either you're going to win that one and you're going to go on to play Charlottetown again, or somehow you are upset and you waited all that time to play one game. So from that standpoint, team-wise, financial-wise, I understand the decision. Player-wise, like you, I don't get how you don't keep going to give your young guys, especially in a rebuild, a little bit of playoff. And it's not a regular playoff, but it's still going to be playoff hockey.
This is foolish. It's totally foolish. I mean, financially, I get it.
Yeah.
But the fact that, the owners of Cape Breton and Halifax literally just gave up on their teams is not a very good message to send. Mm-hmm. You look at a player like Zach LaRue, who was on a very good Moncton team last year and a pretty decent Halifax team this year, still 0 playoff games experience. I know Desnoyers and others. I know we made the playoffs in his rookie year.
Yep.
But 0 playoff games last year, 0 playoff games this year, in seasons where he should have had an opportunity to play in a lot of playoff games. Like this is terrible on a young team like Halifax. They're loaded with rookies: Vidicek, Swan, Dume, you name it. Furlong, I know he's out for the season, but playoff experience is invaluable, right? You need that in a young group, and for the owners of these two teams to just say, screw it, I think bad message.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think they're going to regret that. I don't care, at the end of the day, if they would have done the same concept as we're doing here, someone's still playing Charlottetown for a chance to, like it's silly, right? I think it's just a very, very dumb decision. And if I hope the players feel the same way, because that's to basically just say, go home, guys. We have no chance of beating Charlottetown. Doesn't bode well for the confidence in the dressing rooms there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's it. I think it's a little foolish, a little ridiculous. It gave an opportunity for LaRue to go represent Canada at the U18s, but I guess he's not. Canada doesn't want him.
What?
Guess.
Huh.
Cole Sillinger's out because of COVID protocol, so it would be an opportunity for him to step in, but I guess I don't think that's going to happen. Biasca left Halifax today to go represent Switzerland at the same tournament.
That's the one in Texas, right?
Who?
Where is that?
Oh, I thought you said he's the one that texts us. I said, no we do not text with Biasca.
No, we don't. We don't at all. No,
yes, that is
the one in Texas.
Yes, okay. That is the tournament in Texas. Yeah. So, that happens. I think they're all in quarantine right now. And look, that's going to be a fun tournament.
Yeah. And it's exposure for scouts.
Exposure. You've got some of the top, 16 and 17-year-old players in the world. Chances are Moncton's top Euro pick will be playing in that tournament. Who that is, remains to be seen, unless they go off the board, which It's Moncton.
They did last year, 2 years ago. Did 2 years ago with Axel.
Oh, yeah. Well, Axel Anderson wasn't off the board. It was literally a high-end defenseman who had pro experience that nobody thought would want to play junior.
Yeah,
It
sure.
was a gamble.
Yeah,
It wasn't off the board. It was a gamble.
Oh, yeah. A little different.
It was a high risk, high reward.
Worked out.
It did work out. Barbashev, I mean, we don't know what his case was. I think his case was I would only play for Moncton. He always wanted
Works
to be a
out.
Yeah, he wanted to be a Wildcat ever since he was probably 12 years old.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. If anybody knows if the tournament's going to be televised, I'd love to know. I've seen nothing about TSN picking up these games. Usually they do, but I think because of the border situation, I don't know if that's going to happen. So if anybody knows if these games are going to be televised, let us know.
Probably be on NHL Network, if anything, down in the States.
Because I'd love to watch some of this hockey. But yeah, that's my quick take on the Halifax Cape Breton situation and how it managed to get into the U18s.
Well, and I mean, I didn't know LaRue wasn't apparently going, because there's a player that we talked the level and trajectory he was on last year with Moncton. Now, he was on a great team and he was playing with a lot of great players that helped him, but his trajectory was top 10 pick if he stayed on that. And we've seen a few mock drafts from random places. He's falling now into the 20s, 25.
Yeah.
You shared one where he was an Oiler. Let's go. But yeah, I mean, for him not to be able to go represent Canada, and I mean, he's a good player when he's on. The Q made an announcement: no games in the Val-d'Or or Rennes region, so they will move their games to the Victoria area for the series against Baie-Comeau and Victoriaville, respectively. And the Q team of the week, or very maritime division with no Q Quebec games. Peter Reynolds for the SeaDogs, Ryan Francis for the SeaDogs, and Matthew DeGagné. Reynolds had 8 points. Francis had 8 points. DeGagné had 7 points. Noah Lowen and Luca Cormier each with 5 points for the defensemen. And then goaltender, our guy, Vincent Filion, 1 goal against and 1 win as he picked that up in a 2-1 victory against St. John, which just beautifully brings us in to the Weekly Rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
We won a game and lost 2. That has been your
Yep. 1 and 2 in the final 3 games. So we end 11-17, 2-1 with a 403 winning percentage. We end 14th spot, sadly giving the Wildcats the 2% chance at the draft lottery whenever that happens. Moncton will draft 18th overall in this year's draft. I mean, quickly, if we want to put these 3 games in a bunch, I mean, Wednesday was just flat.
Yeah.
Absolutely flat. I mean, the only positive in that one was Tristan Sanchez picked up his first goal in the queue. Man, that guy has got to be quite tired going from the Flyers to the Wildcats, Flyers to the Wildcats, back and forth. Picked up his goal, but man, I mean, it was just
like that was dismal.
Yeah, just complete. Like, if you told me one of these 2 teams played the Tuesday night before, I wouldn't have guessed it was Bathurst.
Mm-hmm.
Moncton was just, they took no advantage of it. Flat, nothing, just bad.
This is a bottle of ginger ale shaken 20 times. That's how I would describe that performance.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
That was, I mean, one of the worst of the year. But you know what? We're not going to take too much time talking about these games. But they recovered. They came back on what was it, Saturday? Maybe I'm completely wrong. When was that game against St.
John? Friday.
Friday night.
Friday.
Rebecca Black.
Yeah.
Gotta get down on Friday.
Yeah. Ah, crap. It was on Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, Saturday the
So
17th.
so much for that singing.
Well, we tried.
Yeah. That was a much better performance.
Yeah.
That was the Vincent Filion show.
Yeah.
And he played extremely well. I don't think you could ask for a better performance. Stopped, was it Francis or Burns on a breakaway? One of the two. That was a key stop. If he doesn't make that, I think the game's a different result. Could have been probably a game changer there. But I think that he between that and the performance from Lund Cornish on Sunday, I think you have to give Filion the edge for the game tonight as the starter.
Yeah, 100%. I think if Filion didn't win that game in St. John, I don't know if he would have been the starter. I don't know if he'd have the chance to be the starter. I mean, he's 2-0 in his last 2 starts against St. John. 3 goals in the first one on the April 11th. 1 goal against on April 17th. I mean, talking to Mike, who was calling the game for play-by-play for the SeaDogs, I asked him what he thought of Filion because it was his first time seeing him. He said his rebound control wasn't the best, but he recovered nicely. He was always in position. And for Filion, in the times we've seen him, that was probably the quote-unquote worst rebound control he's ever had, but he was still the rebounds weren't given to someone. They were just like off his chest. He just kind of seemed to bobble a few things, but he was right there jumping on pucks, covering when he can. So I think the fact that he got that victory propels him to the ability to have a start, and we're all hoping for it because he is the guy that these guys play. They respond in front of him.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you feel the team plays with more confidence with Filion in net, or do you think they tighten up more
With Filion in net?
Yeah.
And by tighten up more, you mean defensively tighten up more?
Yeah.
I think they honestly, I think they play better defensively. I think they tighten up a little bit more. I think they try and block more shots.
Right.
I think just because he is so young and he's 16 and he's still learning the game, I think it's a conscious effort to, kind of come back to the net, block shots more. Not that they're not trying to do it against when DLC's in net, but a few times the home games, the dangerous shots against DLC, they've been higher in that home plate strike zone. So I think it's a conscious effort to try and come in tight in the net and try and block everything possible.
Yeah, I'm a big basketball fan here, so I gotta use the box out term here. But you just said the defense, and they just seem to box out better.
Yep.
In front of Filion, than they do with in front of Lund Cornish. Is that because they know Lund Cornish is a veteran, so that they. I don't know. Maybe they're more confident in him, but honestly, I think it's. I think the team plays more confident, in front of Filion. It's just they feel more confident with him in the net, and at the same time, they're much better defensively. So it's I think it's a little bit of both, and honestly,
they also play looser with Filion in the net.
Yeah.
We can jump the line. We have them behind us. I mean, they kind of have Dakota Lund, but I think there's just the feeling that this is our guy behind us. He's going to be our guy for a few years. Let's make that extra pinch, make that extra rush.
So we've been wrong before. There was
many times.
Yeah, many times. There's been games where the Wildcats posted lineups at 4:30 in the afternoon. And I look at it and Lund Cornish is starting, and I'm thinking, well, that should be Filion's game. When Filion won, not the Saturday game, but the game before that, his previous start.
St. John won, yeah.
Yeah. And my instinct was that, when you win and you're in. So I figured he would be starting that, was it the Wednesday night game against Bathurst?
Yeah.
Right? So you just get that instinct that, okay, well, that's it. Then that seemed to be the style they were going with, right? It seemed like, if Lund Cornish won a game, he would start the next game. If Filion won a game, he would start the next game. But this one was like, okay, well, Filion won, but then Lund Cornish got to start Wednesday. So it's just like, sometimes they make these decisions where it's like, okay, well, you can make the argument that Lund Cornish started on Wednesday because his last start before that was the Wednesday before.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you're totally going against your win and you're in. So I guess the strategy they've been going with when it comes to goaltenders has been completely out of whack. So fingers crossed that they do start Filion Tuesday night in St. John because he deserves it. And not to take anything away from Lund Cornish, but if the Wildcats have a chance to win these games, Filion is going to be the one in net.
Yep, I 100%. I think it's his net in the playoffs. Like we said, it's ride or die with this kid. And then Sunday was the just stay healthy game. As the
that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, Darcy he left with like 3 minutes left.
Yeah, and Pavement as well. If you didn't notice that,
Yeah,
so
I didn't notice the Pavement one, but I noticed the Darcy one with about 3 minutes left. Took a shot, I believe, or just went down awkward. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Awkwardly, I think it went down.
So yeah, the medical clinic, as Will Hodge likes to call it, continues to grow.
Yeah.
But
this is where a week off would have been nice before the playoffs instead of just Tuesday.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That was a game that Bathurst just kind of, Moncton showed fight, being outshot 17-6 in the first period, being tied, being outshot again in the second period, 12-11, but still being outshot, stayed tied, had their chances to win, but just couldn't bring it home. But, I mean, they didn't quit, and that's all that mattered. They didn't mail it in the last game knowing that you winning more prizes over there or what?
No, the work phone's going off, which is weird because it hasn't been going off all day.
No, last time you checked your phone, you ended up winning a PS5.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that you're not adding
no award wins this week
Okay.
by the looks of it.
Cool. All right, so yeah, that's our recap, and now we've got a special guest. All right, so let's get to view from the other bench.
View from the other bench.
All right, here we go. It's playoff time, baby. It's playoff time. This, of course, won't be a conventional playoff format. Nonetheless, it's important to have playoffs, and we can't do a playoff preview just by ourselves. So we're going to do one with, our good friend from Station Nation, covers the SeaDogs, who we've had quite the interesting series with, Jaime Tozer. Man, you've been around the queue a long time. Craziest format you've ever seen?
Yeah, without question. I don't even know what to really compare it to. Honestly, it's going to be extremely weird. I wasn't even around in the 90s and 2000s when there were buys and stuff. So this is by far the strangest format I've seen.
We talked about it earlier on the show, but I want your opinion on Cape Breton and Halifax basically just giving up on their teams. What doesn't that to you not send a bad message to the dressing rooms or the players?
Yeah, I definitely think it could. They did essentially just kind of give up. There's no other really way to look at it. I think really unfortunate. I've been speaking with some people around those teams, and I know that they were absolutely sick of playing each other. But at the same time, it's you'd think it'd be better than nothing, right? But yeah, I definitely think it could potentially send a long-term bad message. But I even think looking at it on the Quebec side, I kind of wonder if there's some Quebec teams that are really struggling with COVID and have, in my opinion, a much more legitimate reason to maybe give up on the season. I wonder if this kind of gives them an out now that they maybe weren't willing to do before this all went down.
Yeah, I would think Quebec and Gatineau and those kind of teams. You're right when you look at like the old school playoffs, and I've looked before. I had to go back just now while you were talking there, and 1998 playoffs, they had a qualifying round, and then the quarterfinals was a round robin tournament. 1996 with a couple of logos that I don't even recognize. A qualifying round where Granby was 5-1, and they ended up going in. These three teams have basically, we've played a lot, not as much as the other teams, but, I was talking to Sanderson. I don't think there's a legitimate favorite. Moncton's not an easy out, and they're going to make you work for it. St. John up front and is inconsistent at best. And Bathurst, they look to be the healthiest. They look to be the best team out of the three. But Bednar, you don't know what you're going to get from game to game. I think you've been at every game. So just, offer your thoughts on what a 9-game playoff round robin's looking like.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, going back to what I just mentioned, how the Islanders and the Mooseheads and Eagles were sick of playing each other. And I think a lot of that probably had to do with, the games were so predictable. I think, Charlottetown was kind of just running away with it.
Yeah.
And then, Cape Breton and Halifax are just kind of doing whatever. But in this 3 New Brunswick team division, I mean, the game's been so unpredictable. I've honestly never seen a stretch of games as crazy as this. Like, every night it's something different. I've definitely been really, I'm sure you guys have even been surprised by how the Wildcats have handled this stretch. And then St. John, I think, has looked good at times, but I think they've probably looked bad more than they've looked good, honestly. And I think, I wonder if Bathurst maybe just peaked a little bit too early. So I'm really curious to see what happens here because, you can say whatever you want about the playoff format, but there is more meaning on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I do wonder if certain teams or certain players will step up a bit more, which I'm sure the SeaDogs are hoping. As an inconsistent team, they're hoping that everybody will have their best performance of the year the next couple weeks.
Now, the last game, the 2-1, I expect more of those type of games than I do 9-2. Now, St. John was without a couple players. Moncton apparently was without 1 or 2 players in the lineup there. But, no, but I mean, without giving away too much, I mean, you expect St. John to have basically a full roster come, like Kotkoff and Iman were the 2 that a lot of people didn't know about, but you kind of expect those 2 to be back for Tuesday?
Yeah, I assume Kotkov will be back. He was listed just as day-to-day, so I'm assuming that's not too serious. Iman, I'm not entirely sure about, but he was at the game on Saturday in a suit, and he didn't have anything visibly wrong with him. So hopefully he's good to go because I definitely think he's been the better of the 2 goalies, and I'm not even sure who they'd bring in as a backup if Iman couldn't go. So yeah, that would be a significant loss, and I imagine Iman will probably get the majority of the starts.
If you go through the St. John roster, you look at your Ryan Francis's, your Kotkovs, those guys there. Who's like who would be like an unlikely hero that could come through for St. John in the playoffs? Because that's usually what happens when the games get big.
Liam Leonard.
I guess Moncton. I'm sure Liam Leonard will perform really well. I think Cam McDonald. Cam McDonald's a guy I've been really impressed with this season. Shown some signs of being a pretty good offensive player, but he's been used a lot more as a third, fourth line defensive forward. See some time on the penalty kill. Really strong defensive game for someone his age. And I'm really excited to see him develop because a player at that age who has potential to be a pretty good offensive player, but to see him playing now so well defensively, I'm really excited to see how his game develops over the next couple of seasons. But I definitely think he's the type of guy who could really spark the SeaDogs and score a couple big goals down the stretch here. So I'd probably pick him, but Leonard is also a guy. Riley Bezo is another guy. Carruthers. They've really got more of that traditional third line now that they didn't have the past couple of years. So they've definitely got some more of those sandpaper type players that could score some big goals.
Do we see a reuniting of Francis Reynolds and Kotkoff? Because I know they separated them for the past couple games. If Kotkoff's healthy, how they always say game 1 of a playoff series is a tone setter, but I mean if Moncton comes out and gets game 1, I mean there's some pressure on St. John to now you're chasing, right? Like this is a big game for St. John because they have 0 playoff experience. It's their first time in 2-3 years.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, you talk about like the cliche where the pressure's on them, right? Like we have nothing to lose, and I think the Wildcats don't have a lot to lose here.
No.
And, the pressure's on the SeaDogs, in my opinion, to finally step up their game here. And I think the SeaDogs finishing third, I don't think would look good on anybody in this tournament. So I definitely think that if they have a bad showing, particularly against the Wildcats, I think that's nothing against the Wildcats, but I mean that's kind of concerning moving forward for this team.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go into let's try some unbiased predictions here, if we can. I'm going to throw mine out first because I think this would be best case scenario if you're a Wildcats fan. I'm not going to say who I think's going to win this round robin, but I'm going to say best case scenario, Moncton beats St. John in that last game to kind of, send St. John packing for the rest of the season. They always say, to win a championship, you got to win your last game. I think that would be like a championship for Moncton.
Yeah.
To send the SeaDogs packing. So I'm not going to say who I think is going to win the round robin, but that's I'll sugarcoat it a little bit and just say maybe that last game will be Moncton's championship for the season. We'll say that.
Yeah, because if they win the round robin, they're.
I'm not saying Moncton's going to win here.
I'm
not saying Moncton's going to win.
No, I think I've unbiased opinions. I think Bathurst is the best team of the three. I think they're just playing so well together, and they're the healthiest, and that really comes down to playoffs. And being healthy really makes a big difference. And Moncton's handled St. John a little bit better than they've handled Bathurst. So I think they're really in tough, and I think Bathurst can I think Bathurst wins this round robin. If I'm doing the unbiased thing, you, Jamie?
Yeah, I agree with you, Adam. I think Bathurst is going to win. I guess the wild card is that the SeaDogs, for some reason, play more games in Bathurst than anywhere else. They've done really well in Bathurst, so I guess that's kind of a wild card out of all this. But yeah, I mean, the SeaDogs have had a couple big games against Bathurst, but for the most part, they've really struggled. So I definitely think Bathurst is the favorite.
Do we even get to a maritime championship? Like, if we start, the cases are piling up on the island now. They're not, things aren't looking good here. Do we get to that step?
I hate to be like a Debbie Downer, but I have a hard time seeing it happen. I was talking with Mike about this during the intermission the other night, and I kind of almost think that the only chance that there's a maritime final is if they ship the New Brunswick champion and the Islanders to Quebec to play in that Final Four bubble.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how well that's going to go over, because you're probably looking at a one game or a best of three, and then you have to go home and isolate again. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure how much fun that's going to be. So I think it's going to be difficult. I definitely think that the Q is going to have a really hard time getting the President's Cup awarded. I think if they had done this all 4 months ago, I think they would have had a much better chance than they do now.
Yeah, I'm not the one that follows it. I just do what I'm told by the government and where I can and can't go. So I really haven't been following them. I've kind of seen them, but I don't look into it. And I'm just like, just please. I mean, the WHL now not having any playoffs.
I mean, if you want to go and say, "Oh, look, we were the only league to finish a regular season and crown a champion," I mean, you can take the credit for that. But I honestly, I don't think it's going to get to that point. I really don't.
No. And then how do you crown a winner? You go off best record, and that's Charlottetown. Well, I mean, you can't complain about who they're playing. You can only, they're only playing the teams they were given, and that would suck for Val-d'Or and Charlottetown, who both kind of went all in, but more so Val-d'Or. So, are you going to be at all the rinks every game there, Jamie?
I probably won't be at many games at Bathurst. It's a long trek, but I'll be at all the St. John and Moncton games for sure.
Perfect. I know it's killing you for a guy who's been to almost every arena in North America to not have your travels have been 3 arenas. It can't be easy on it. But thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate you helping us with the playoff preview, and hopefully we've got more games than less to talk about as we get through this next 3 weeks there. So thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Jamie.
All right. Yeah. I didn't even think about the cases. I really hope we at least get to some sort of thing, but I mean, oh, look at that. The sound came back on at the end. Isn't that neat? I didn't think it would do that. Do you want to go on a more positive note and get to everyone's favorite part of the show?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Eric Murray Realty. Buy a house from him.
Stick tap of the week.
So I think this one's pretty obvious. It's been a long what's it been? 7 months. 7 months since the season got going. 6 or 7 months. Some teams had some difficulty. Some teams didn't. Things were going great here in the Maritimes for a couple months, but then things kind of shut down. But to be able to be the only league, really in North America to put together a full season and get playoffs and everything like that too. I think you gotta stick tap to the queue. They've found a way to make this season work given the circumstances. Does it suck that we play the same teams over and over again? Well, yeah, it does. But it's only one season.
Yeah.
Right. By next September, we should be able to go to Quebec and see these other teams, and Richie will be able to get us put in Baie-Comeau, and Pat McNeil will be able to get us put in Rouyn-Noranda, and it's only for one season, and I know last season kind of sucked as well. The end sucked, but there was absolutely nothing that we could have done about that, and this year is different because we've actually been able to pull through and get through these games, and
695 of them.
695?
695 games total in the queue.
That's crazy because it's there's from having the most fans at a sporting event in all of North America. We can't see the world because there was some soccer game or something in Australia that was like 55,000 fans. So with no masks, no physical distancing,
baseball's going.
Yeah, so we can't say that anymore. But in Canada, still the largest crowds for any sporting event. So just I guess to the queue, great job on pulling through and getting this season over with and done, and being able to put a product on the ice that fans can enjoy whether we're in the stands or not.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the RE/MAX Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
All right, and that brings us to the Rosemary Lynn Massage Wildcat of the Week. The grand opening was last night from 4 to 8. Grand opening is today. They're located at 1224 Mountain Road, Unit 6, offering relaxing, therapeutic, deep tissue, mommy-to-be massages. You can now book appointments. Just call Nicole at 830-1224. As well, follow her on Facebook and Instagram, Rosemary_Lynn's_massage. If you do book now until May 1st, I believe, 15% off. So I know you messaged me you were going to take advantage of it because they direct bill. So you booked your appointment? Or?
Not yet, no.
15% off, bro.
Man, I could go for one right now, though. Sitting in those massage chairs at the gym.
Yeah. It's the best part of going to the gym.
It is the best part about going to the gym, but it's just not the same, as when you're getting it done by a professional. Yeah. So I definitely need to take advantage of that now that I did file my taxes and I got some sweet coin back.
Nice.
I can actually put some of that aside and maybe go get myself what do you call it? Is it a Swedish massage? Is that what it's called? Or
sure.
I don't know what it's called.
Therapeutic, Swedish, deep tissue.
Just rub the heck out of my back and hopefully, I don't know if it's stress or what, but make me feel a little more alive.
I like it. So the Wildcat of the Week, I mean, we could go a few ways here, but it makes just too much sense to give it to our 3 20-year-olds that played their last regular season game on Sunday in Bathurst and now will play their final playoff games for the Wildcats. So Jacob Hudson, I mean, 218 games played, 43 goals, 65 assists, 108 points. Richie's talked about Pelche is Mr. Wildcat. I mean, the two that you could call are Jacob Hudson and Jacob Pelche. I mean, this kid has been everything for this team from first time I interviewed him, which didn't really go that well on the podcast after a preseason game, to anytime I talked to him in the preseason or met him. Never a bad thing to say. He's in the community. He is the community of this team. Healthy scratch early in the year. He never complained. He just went about his business and, I mean, sticks up for his teammates, does anything they need him to do, could play up and down the lineup. Tristan DeYoung, 154 games played, 13 goals, 42 assists, 55 points. Free agent from Ontario in 2018. Ended up playing 64 games and was just steady. I mean, other than his turnover we talked about last week, that was probably the worst play he's had. And even if you ask him, I mean, he was a 5'6" defenseman early, 4'5" last year on a really good team. And then he was just logging a ton of minutes this year. Never complains, jumps over the boards, PK, penalty, power play. It doesn't matter. He's now the guy. And like I said, he's just like Hudson. Throw a big hit, he'll step up, throw knuckles with anyone that gets in the way. And then Dakota Lund-Cornish, in his Q career, 110 games, 46 Ws, 52 Ls, 3.53 goals against average. And in Moncton, 35 games played, 17 wins, 18 losses, and I believe a 2.9 goals against. Acquired last year at the deadline as a backup for Rodrigue. Went 10-3. And he was, we had talked to Aiden early on in the year. What are we going to get from him? And you're going to get a consistent goalie, and sometimes he's going to make those saves that you just, wow, or have those games where he just stands on his head. And he was that last year. This year's been a little difficult, little different team in front of him, but early on this season, I mean, he was exactly what we needed to keep this team in games. And I think now more he's realizing that, it's Filion's net. Filion's the future. And he's doing a great job in backing up and mentoring Sheehan and Filion there. So, I mean, it's going to be really weird. You're getting to that point now. Well, I'm getting to that point. You've seen it before. You're not going to see certain numbers in certain players anymore. Like, it's going to be so weird to go to the rink next year and not see 92 and 5
I know.
on the ice. Like, I can't. I mean, I've only been here for 3 years, but I've never seen a game without Jacob Hudson, or a season without Jacob Hudson, or without Tristan DeYoung. And he's especially DeYoung. He's come from that pipeline of Ontario free agents, so it's going to be very difficult to not see 92 and 5 at the rink next year.
Yeah, and you know what? It's 92 is just one of those numbers you probably won't see in Moncton again, because it's one of those scenarios where it's like he only got that number because his jersey's in his number's in the Hall of Fame, right? So you probably won't see another 92.
Yeah. 49 will now be the highest.
49 will likely be the highest. Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. Unless there's like a,
they acquire
franchise player that gets
like
picked
a Connor
first,
Bedard type 98
that goes first overall or something like that. And I mean, you're going to want to do everything to give this guy the number he wants. But yeah, you probably won't see anybody wearing number 8 again. You won't see I doubt you'll see a 92.
Have we seen a 29? Have you seen a 29 since?
I can't think. Maybe not. I don't. I'd have to check. You're putting me on the spot there, but
it just clicked to me. Yeah,
I don't think
we have.
I don't remember one.
I haven't seen one since I've been here.
Yeah, well, that's you're,
like 3
you're
years.
putting me on the spot here, so that's a tough one. But
but yeah, 92. You won't see 92 again, unless they like, and why Richie's told us he's not a fan of high numbers. He comes from that.
Yeah, if there's a high number, it's because he's acquired from another team. Drafted as a Wildcat, I doubt you'll see a high number again.
And I'm not really a fan of that. I understand it, but I'm just like, no, I like high numbers. They're fun. I like the individuality of high numbers.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see, but I don't think we'll see another high number. If there was another goalie that had number 29,
Roman Will.
That was going to be my guess. Yeah.
2011, 2012, but that's it.
So that was, but yeah, that's it. You probably won't see a 92 again. You won't see an 8. And so that's that.
It's going to be weird next year.
Very weird. Yeah, I know I said something about the under 18s being televised. I don't want to take away from the fact that the Women's Worlds start next month in Halifax, and I know TSN's picking up the feed on that one too. So I don't want to take away from women's hockey because I don't think hockey wouldn't be the same if we didn't have the women. So I didn't want to make it seem that I was only looking forward to the 18s. The women's is coming up too.
Yeah, which I mean, that's great hockey, and we kind of expect TSN to cover that. We just need to know what's going to be on in Texas, and I'm excited because they didn't have the Worlds last year in Halifax, so
No, they didn't.
It's excellent hockey if you have a chance to catch that on TSN. And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but stick tap to the Flyers.
Yeah, honorable mention for
Yeah,
sure.
honorable, yeah.
9th championship in the last 15 years.
In a year they weren't supposed to,
Yeah,
right? This was a rebuild year.
Some 18 rookies. But yeah, that's just crazy. That game Saturday night against Fredericton, Game 5 was nutso. Absolutely nuts. Came down to the last 4 minutes. Flyers had a 2-0 series lead. Fredericton won the next 2.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to Game 5, 4 minutes left. Justin Jondron gave the championship winning goal for the Flyers. So just a ridiculous role they're on. Some of those rookies are going to make the jump to the queue next year, but also they're going to have a big number back.
Yeah.
So early favorites next year too for their 10th championship in 16 years, which is just ridiculous.
That's crazy. All right, that'll do it for us this week. Again, thanks for everyone joining us, downloading, watching on YouTube. It is playoff time. Game 1 goes tonight in St. John. Game 2 Friday night in Bathurst, and then Game 3 back at the Avenir Center, 7 p.m. Use your January 17th, 2021 ticket for that one. I believe all games are on Rogers. I believe we were told that just before we came on. So
Sources
say. If you've watched the show, you kind of have an idea who our source could be. But sources say all games will be on Rogers TV. So if you can't get to the Avenir Center, it's on Rogers TV. That's it for us as well. As always, thanks for downloading. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Stay safe. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.